Okay, today what I'm going to be doing is setting up a chi-squared test in Excel so that I can then use my TI calculator to calculate the value. What I want to see here is if birth weight and gestation period are independent. So first thing I need to do is look at both both sections of data and organize them. So I've highlighted A, it's the birth weight. I'm just going to go in and sort from smallest to largest. Okay, I need to make sure that I expand the selection because I want this value to stay with this value. So I sort, and I see that my smallest birth weight is 1.5, and I scroll down and I see my largest is approximately about 5. Okay, so I'm going from 1.5 to 5. I just need to remember that. And now I'm going to click on this column. I'm going to do the same. Smallest to largest. Expand because I want them to stay together. 148. 148 to 353. And I may notice straight away that that 148 may be an outlier, so yeah, it jumps into 180, which is a whole nother 40 some days, right? So what I need to do next is I'm going to insert what's called a pivot table. This is the name they call it in. We have pivot chart and table because I want the table and I can just delete the chart. So I'm going to insert pivot chart and table. And I want it to use, you notice it's highlighted, both pieces of data, and I'm going to put it on a new worksheet. So I hit OK, and here it is. Okay, now you'll notice here in my fields I have birth weight and gestation period. Doesn't matter which one you put. One is going to be on the axis, the other is going to be on the legend. So birth weight, okay, now all of a sudden I have all the birth weights, and gestation, oops, throw that down there, and now I have gestations over here. Okay, now you'll notice there's no values within, so let me go ahead, I'm going to just grab this chart and delete it. Okay, so now I don't have the chart anymore. So what I need to do is I need to put some values down here that we count by. So I'm going to take gestation again, doesn't matter which one you use, but I usually use the ones where I have columns. And sum of, I don't want sum of because that's adding 204 and I'm 1.5 if I get it the right. Value field settings, and I want to count, okay? So what this tells me is there's one baby that had a gestation period of 204 days and weighed 1.5, I think it was kilos. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to move all the information together. So what I do is I click on this value here and I'm going to group. Okay, so I right-clicked on 1.55 and I group. I'm going to start at 2. Okay, remember I'm going from 1.55 to 5. And then I'm going to go to 4. I'm going to go by 1. So it's going to have everything less than 2, then I'll have 3, then I'll have everything greater than 4. So let's just watch what happens. Okay, so now everything I have in groups. Less than 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, greater than 4. Now I need to do the same for the periods of gestation. So I right-click on the first number and I group. So now I'm going to do less than 200, ending at 300, and I will go by groups of, let's do 50. Not quite sure what it's going to show, but let's see. Ah, voila. Okay, so now you can see there were 8 babies that weighed less than 2 kilograms and had a gestation period between 200 and 249 days. Now, what you need to do, you can see here is my total, that's how many pieces of data I have. But what you need to do is you're going to have to go back and make sure, because you'll notice all of these columns and rows, all of these cells here, they need to have values of at least 5. So you might need to squish some things together or put them apart. But this is the first step, okay, so that you can look at your data. Now what I would probably want to do is end it, somehow I need to get this data down there. So I may change this. Starting, my smallest is at 3 by 1s. Okay, now I have everything the way that I need. And I just need to change this one. 249 is going to be my first. Excuse me, 250. Watch this. Okay, so here is all my data. I only have one cell, and that should be sufficient because my guess is when I do the expected frequencies, I'll find that it's more than 5. And the expected frequencies is really the one that needs to be 5. So now I can go ahead and put it into my graphing calculator, which I'll do right now. Here's my graphing calculator, turn it on. If you remember, you need to go to matrix. Second matrix. And I'm going to edit the first matrix. Okay, rows 1, 2, 3 by columns 1, 2, 3. So I have a 3 by 3. And I enter just the values, not the totals. So 39, 212, 7, 13, 732, 45, 1, 111, and 14. Okay, very simple. Now all I need to do is go to, I usually quit here, go to stats, I'm going to test, go down to chi-squared test, enter. I want the observed, which I have in A, and the expected I'll ask to be put in B, and I'm going to calculate the chi-squared value here. So I enter. Degrees of freedom is 4. There's my p-value, very, very small. Chi-squared value, very, very big. And I'll let you go back and decide what that means, because we haven't even talked about a null hypothesis or anything here. The other thing to remember is when you go to the matrix, now if you go over and edit, here are your expected. And luckily, the expected for that one that I was worried about is now 5. So this is a valid test. Happy chi-squaring!